Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Showrunner. We are going to have some fun. We're going to break some rules. We're going to do some different things today. And thank you all for being here. I forgot to turn the comments on over there. Welcome, everyone who's on live. Welcome for everyone joining the recording. I am your fearless host, Ryan Lee, and we're going to be diving into the wonderful world of becoming a showrunner. This is going to be fun. It's going to be different. It's going to be stuff I haven't done before. I haven't taught before. Everything is changing, and we're just going to try lots of different things over the next few days together. The key with Showrunner is thinking differently. It's getting away from traditional courses and products and programs and shifting and just really getting outside of our comfort zone. Because I am giving you a disclaimer. You're going to be uncomfortable. Because we're gonna be talking about things and doing things that are just not the norm in this world. And if you've been studying any type of entrepreneurship, mostly online and online marketing, and have been through maybe some of my programs or someone else's programs, there's a lot of similarities in what we've taught over the years. You have your product, you got your niche, you got your avatar, and you find the problem, you agitate it, you create a solution, you create a landing page, you get a funnel, you do an upsell, you do a downsell, you got all these different products. And I get it. And I've done it, and I've taught it, and I've done it in health and fitness and strength and conditioning and personal development. But I see what's happening in our world. And what I want to do is take you to a place where I believe the big breakthroughs can happen. Now, I think there's going to be a bunch of you who go with this and run with it. Like, you're like, okay, this is it. This is my thing. I'm off to the races. I got it. There will be a few, and I know I have no doubt there's going to be a few of you who are like, it's so far out of your comfort zone. You just can't think like that, or you're so tied to this kind of model that's becoming really quickly outdated and antiquated of, I'm an expert, I'm a guru, I want to be known for this, and I want to sell products in this, and I want to sell courses and maybe coaching. And I totally get it, but I want to expand what you can think. And whether you end up doing this and like kind of building a world and become a more of a showrunner or not, hopefully our time together over this next week, by the end, you'll at least start thinking differently about marketing, about storytelling, about building a product in the future as it goes. And I know some of you, by the way, how many of you were in my recent program? Was called After Party, because the idea behind doing this, behind Showrunner, came from After Party. After Party was 3 different classes where I talked about being a guide, a producer, and a super producer. And the last one, super producer, I almost contemplated not talking about because I thought it was a little too out there. But when I did it, the feedback was you ever see those like cheesy dance shows in the 60s, like, you get the through the roof. And all the emails and all the messages and everything I got were all about that third class. Like, Ryan, I want to do that. Like, that's the thing. So there was definitely a spark, and I just wanted to create the name. I want to find a name that was a little bit better than super producer. So that's why I came up with this concept of showrunner. And I won't bore you with the realities of what's going on in the world with AI. There's obviously the part where with jobs, right? White collar jobs, like that is all going to change. All the research jobs, copyright freelance, a lot of that is just going to change. But not only that, it's really affecting how-to and product sales. I had a call last week with a guy I know. I'm not going to mention his name. Very, very well known. All of you know who he is. He runs a very, very successful, I don't want to say the name. Let's just go broad. Personal development business, all kind of courses and membership, 8-figure business, maybe close to 9, kind of high 8s. And he's like, Ryan, man, like just this just this first half of the year, our course sales and product sales are down 31%. And he spends a fortune on marketing. And we were chatting about it. He's like, man, I think people are they're just not buying the courses like they used to. There's so much information. There's so much AI. So he's panicking. And a lot of people in that space are as well. That's when I started really thinking long and hard about two things. Number one, selfishly, like, what am I going to do? Right? What does my business look like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, a year from now? If I'm doing these kind of programs, like what does that look like? And not only that, because I love teaching, what can I do and then teach as well, and kind of build something. So I'm building something still secretly and still privately, but I'm building it around this idea of me being a showrunner in this own universe I'm building. So I'm taking a lot of stuff I'm learning, and that's why I'm pouring it into here. And I want us to be bulletproof and look at everything through a new lens, right? So standing out, surviving and thriving in an AI powered world, not just holding on, because it's really interesting. Last week I had lunch or breakfast with the buddy Jim Quick, who's really well-known personal development guy. And the week before that was my other good friend, Jonathan Fields, who's very successful podcaster, 1 million downloads a month, best-selling author. And both of them have sold millions of copies of books. And they both said the same thing. They said their prediction is courses will kind of be gone and done in about 2 years. They said, I think Jonathan said 2 to 3. I think Jim maybe said 2. I think it's less, but it's definitely going down. So what I suggest you don't do is put all your eggs in trying to build a funnel to sell how-to courses the way they've been traditionally sold, because I do think that's going to keep the numbers are going to keep going down. Even if you made 10 grand this month, I think 2 months from now, maybe it'll be 9,000, then it'll be 7, and then it might drop to 3. So there will be some that survive. They're going to be the top of the market. But if you're not the number one person in your space, I think it's going to be very difficult. So here's the radical idea. It's building our own world, our universe, something that's completely different. The way I look at it, funnel, it's a path, right? It kind of takes you on this journey, right? It's a path, but a world is a place. And that's what we want. We want a place where people are and they show up and they become fans. And here's some examples. Comic-Con obviously has their fans, right? Sports card collecting has exploded. That was my first business back in the 80s when I was like 13 years old. I had my first business, and it was baseball cards. And they kind of went away for a while, and they're coming back with a vengeance. And even Gary Vaynerchuk is getting into this world of like world building and V-Friends and building this whole universe. But I wanted to build something that's not like this, where you have to do mega events and conferences. And Scott just said there's CatCon. Yeah, there's conferences for everything, right? I want to see how can we do it under the lens of still building it more as like a one-person business where it doesn't take over your life. Because you're probably here because you don't want to build a big team and do all that kind of stuff. So what we have to do is start getting away from just selling information, because would we build a world, it really is much more difficult for AI to replicate that feeling, right? It's really good at information, really good. Hey, how do you do this? Here's how you do it. What should I do? Here's what to do. Even now, I'm like, you know what? I want to kind of tweak my diet a little bit. I turned GPT into my nutritionist. Like, I'm like, here's what I ate. Here's the label. Here's the thing. And it like broke down my calories, my protein. It's like, you know what, Ryan, you could probably, let's increase your protein by about 20 grams a day. So it's getting really good at not just information, but coaching. But it still needs to be created by a human, and it still can't capture that feeling of a world of CatCon, right? Of V-Friends. It can't do that without human prompting, right? So fans join worlds, but they forget products. I mean, I have, admittedly, created products that I've forgotten about. I've had people come to me at events. Oh, Ryan, I love that program called, the whatever trainer. I'm like, I don't even remember. It takes me a couple minutes to like, oh yeah, I did create that in 2002. And I didn't remember. People forget products, but they don't forget a world. They don't forget a part, this universe that they're part of. Worlds expand, right? We can keep adding to it, and products end. Products have a shelf life. Products come and go, but worlds continue to expand. Think about the Marvel universe and how many movies they keep increasing. There's another Superman movie coming. Like, they just keep going and going and going, but products have a shelf life. And people don't share funnels, but they share myths. They share these stories and the worlds, and they wear the shirts. It's just a different feeling and a different vibe. Like I said, we're gonna really stretch our legs over the next few days together, because products get used, worlds spark obsession. And that's what we're doing. We are going to have this obsession, and we're going to become a showrunner. We're making no excuses. We're doing it. If you're ready, can you give me a yes? Can you give me a heck yes if you're on live? Show me something, because I want to see that you're on there ready to rock this, because we are transforming right now into showrunners. You might say, well, okay, there's a world, right? But what about a universe? Like, what's a universe? And I use this guy's example. Now, this guy had a lot of trouble recently. Like, he was fired from the show. He was the showrunner, and his name's Peter Lankoff, and he's supposedly not a very good guy at all. So I'm not saying replicate him as a human, but what I'm saying is the way he built his universe is he started with one show and then another show and another show, and they were all on CBS at one time. And you've probably seen these. They'd all have crossovers and interconnected with Hawaii Five-0 and Magnum PI and the new MacGyver. It's funny, they're all reboots of shows from like the 60s, 70s, or 80s. And they called it the Lankoff-verse, which was this fictional universe where all of these shows took place kind of in the same time, the same timeline. So that is like dreaming, right? If you eventually say, well, Ryan, I want to build like a whole universe, not just like a single world. I want to build a whole world of interconnected universes. I'm going to say this. Why not? What's stopping you? There's really nothing stopping you. If you would have said this to me 2-3 years ago, I'd say, all right, you need a big team, you need resources, you got to hire designers and video and videographers and editors and writers and story writers and all the scripters, all that stuff. I am building my entire world right now with almost entirely with ChatGPT. I have a virtual assistant, Prince, but he's not even working on that now. So I've built 100% of it so far. So you don't need a lot of people. You don't need anyone to do this. And we're going to really open things up, and we're going to play. What I want you to do is I was going to say just for a minute, but it's not just for a minute. It's now and indefinitely. I want you to tap into your childlike curiosity and creativity and think back. Like, do this with me for a minute. Think back to when you were a kid and you felt really creative, and maybe you were 7 or 8 or 6 or 12 or 13 or whatever it is. And you just this sense of like wonder and creativity, and you're like, oh, I want to do this, and I want to build this, and I want to sculpt this, and I want to create this, like whatever it is you wanted to do. And maybe it was writing or drawing or music, or whatever it was. And I think sometimes we lose that along the way, especially when we get into this world of business, and it became such a left turn focus on creating funnels and monetization and what your ROAS. And I'm guilty. Like I got away from my creativity, but now that I'm building this new world, I found it again. And I haven't felt this alive in about 20 years, truly. And I want you to tap into that sense of wonder. even if you're not, hopefully you're not, if you're not driving, just close your eyes for a minute and just envision like what that feels like just for a minute before we even get into, because today we're going to set up the whole structure of your world, but let's just dream, right? What does this look like? Your perfect business. And I've asked this question in the past, and I've said to kind of envision what it looks like 6 months, a year from now, 2 years from now. And it was often under the guise of, what does your product look like? What's the monetization? What is your membership? How many members do you have? And for now, forget all of that. Okay? Forget traffic. Forget what's your marketing strategy. Forget how are you going to make money with it. Even forget for a minute who it's for. Forget your audience. What I want you to do is close your eyes, take a deep breath in and out, and just imagine. I just put $10 million in your bank account. And I'm saying you can go online, you could do whatever you want online, and I want you to just play and create. Okay? In whatever world or thing you're doing. And maybe it's around a certain TV show or a certain band, or you just want to write poems or whatever it is. Just get that feeling. I want you to kind of put yourself there. And how does it feel? Right? What does your creative space look like? What are you doing each day? What lights you up? What is that thing inside that, not that what you want to do, but you can't not do it. It's like breathing. And we often have something that we want to do that no one knows. No one. Not even your family members, a spouse, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, your kids. Like, no, there might be something deep inside that no one knows. And that's okay. But why not do that? Right? Now we can. So I'm giving you permission to forget for now funnels, products, monetization. Oh, Ryan, you're not living in the real world. Let's just get creative. Open your eyes and just tell me how you're feeling. Describe right now, if you're on here live, just what came to you. You could describe how you feel in one word, like relaxed or happy or excited or, oh my God, I had the vision, like whatever it is, or I felt nothing. I'm a cynic. I have nothing to give, nothing to do. That's cool too. There's no judging, but I really want this to be different. And just, who says we can't do what we absolutely love? Right? And just do it. We've put so many constraints on ourselves with business that I don't think we tap into our creativity enough. And if we do, I think you're going to be very surprised how many people it's going to resonate with. So, like I said, we're going to be different, right? The goal of this is not to finish, right? It's not to finish. It's to create. And then we inhabit that world we're going to create. Much different than, here's my product and here's my launch. Don't worry about this. There's no finish line. We're just going to create. Paint, draw, write, compose songs, whatever it is, right? We're going to create, and then we're going to inhabit that world. And I love that I'm seeing these words like motivated, free, inspired. He likes that futuristic, geeky stuff, fun. Yep. I struggle to be a finisher. Yeah. Well, I don't think we have to put that. When we start looking at it as, it's a business, it's a product, and we've got to finish. If you remove that and say, I'm just going to create and I'm going to build and I'm just going to have fun with this thing, It takes all this pressure of, I got to get this out and I got to get this money. I had someone email me about this program, Showrunner. He said, well, I just want to make 10 grand a month. Is this good for me? I said, no, like, it's not like because we're not focused on like a revenue goal right now. We're just focused on creating stuff. The revenue is going to come. We're going to talk about monetization, but this isn't like how to make money online program. Hopefully you will, right? But we're going to build some really cool things. So what I want you to do is start with a feeling and build around that. And I did this little AI image of this, like, kind of how I grew up in the 80s, like the basement, that wood paneling, which is different than now when people say, oh, the 80s, like they do Halloween parties and everything's neon and bright. But it wasn't. If you actually lived, how many of you lived through the 80s? It wasn't like that. It wasn't like all bright neon stuff. It was a lot of this, like browns and kind of more real. So I want you to have that feeling, right? Start with the feeling, which is why I kind of just took you there. And then we're going to build around that. And remember, with AI, we guide it, right? It's still an idea. So the creativity, I don't know where it comes from. We don't know where. The spirit, the universe, who knows? But there's an idea floating around there.